is that they're using violence. This is not let's boycott, here's a sign-on letter. This is AK-15s. This is we're coming to destroy the store. This is bomb threats.
Welcome to this week's Wacky Moments of Leftist Extremism. Now, you're probably more likely to be struck by lightning than to hear an MSNBC host tell the truth. And their coverage of debt ceiling negotiations brought out a storm of BS from braggadocio Joe Scarborough.
People are screaming right now about this debt ceiling being raised with cuts, with significant cuts, are the very people, again, who went along with Donald Trump three times. And even those who voted against it, the few that voted against it weren't screaming, holding press conferences, saying it's the end of the republic like they are now. It's total nonsense. They sat there quietly, including the Freedom Caucus. I remember talking to Mark Meadows, going to him, I think in 2017, going, dude, you guys are spending too much money. Instead of doing all of your stupid virtue signaling, you need to start focusing on spending. I told Meadows this twice.
Yeah, I don't believe Scarborough is telling anyone that Trump needed to cut more spending. Let's go back in time now to May of 2017.
But when I look at this budget, the blueprint that the president has proposed, it is nothing less than hateful. It guts basic services. It slashes cancer research. It slashes health care for the poor. It slashes money for rural hospitals. It slashes money for rural hospice care. It slashes money for anything.
Now, just like then, Joe sounds like his Democratic masters.
I've never seen anything as hateful and abominable as this. This slams everybody in America.
Yeah, it's always a disaster if MSNBC doesn't get what they want. If you don't want to shop at Target and you don't want to buy a rainbow-colored tuck-your-junk swimsuits, well, then you're engaging in terrorism.
This is economic terrorism, literally terrorism, creating fear among the workers and forcing the corporations to sell the things you want and not sell the things you don't.
Darn it, you best buy what we tell you to. Don't go forcing corporations to not sell items that you don't want. My gosh, if people only bought things they were interested in, capitalism might break out.
This is economic terrorism, literally terrorism.
Is everyone associated with MSNBC stupid, or do they just make up horrible and plausible stories?
Toy-sized Mussolini Ron DeSantis unveiled his authoritarian manifesto.
Oh, she's so insane. Go on, Joy Reid.
A national 6-week abortion ban? Make America Florida, am I right? You want to control your body anymore, ladies? Nah. President DeSantis is going to do that. And there is a model for what this little dictator in the making wants to do. Just look at China, Cuba.
Yeah, let's look at that. It doesn't look like they're doing much to limit abortion and the slaughter of the innocent in those dictatorships.
That model also happens to have a name, and it's called totalitarianism.
I guess under Joe Biden, the U.S. isn't killing babies fast enough for her. Yeah, according to the leftist media, saving babies' lives from abortion, well, that's a threat to democracy.
Just this week alone, we've seen the power that state governments have. In South Carolina, the Senate there sent a 6-week abortion ban to the governor's desk. In Nebraska, the governor there signed a 12-week abortion ban that also restricts gender-affirming care for transgender children.
Because if you can't mutilate a minor's genitalia, democracy will surely fall. It's pretty evident. Thank goodness we're a republic. When not lamenting the opportunity to castrate the kiddies, the leftist media returned to their anger over people boycotting Target.
Target is having to pull some products that celebrate Pride Month after an anti-LGBTQ campaign has spread online.
A campaign fueled by conservative activists, which at times became hostile.
The company is having to remove products from stores after some employees received threats.
Target has been the subject of an anti-LGBT campaign.
Target under pressure after threats to employees.
Target calling the extremist backlash volatile.
Are we sure that they're not just exaggerating or making crap up again?
What's interesting, though, and often horrifying, is that they're using violence. This is not let's boycott, here's a sign-on letter. This is AK-15s. This is we're coming to destroy the store. This is bomb threats. So it's at a very increased level of intensity.
AK-15s, you know, the ones that are illegal in this country and used by the Russian military? Don't believe there were any incidents of those being used at a Target. But about those bomb threats she mentioned, Target actually did receive some. The threats came from the endless spout of violence that is the lefty alphabet mob.
The person who sent us this threat said that Target turned its back on the LGBT community. A little before 12:30 Friday afternoon, 19 News received this email. The sender claimed they placed a bomb in the Target in Stowe, a Target in Jackson Township, 2 Targets in the Mahoning Valley, and 1 in Pennsylvania. The sender said they would continue to bomb Target stores until the LGBT merchandise is brought back.
Strangely, the national media seemed to have missed that local report out of Ohio. Or maybe they didn't. Suddenly, they didn't want to talk about bomb threats so much anymore. It seems leftist media only sees what they want, and sometimes everything they see is racist, like on The View. If you're a woman and you vote Republican, it's only because you're white and subservient to your husband.
I think that women, white women in particular, want to protect the patriarchy here because it's to their benefit. Yeah. They want to make sure that their husbands do well. They want to make sure that their sons do well. They want to make sure that their children do well. And they want to make sure that they do well. Most of the women in some of these studies are married white women, and they do fall in line with what their husbands are doing.
So voting on what is good for yourself and your family?
I think that women, white women in particular, want to protect the patriarchy here.
Imagine voting on issues that help strengthen your family. I mean, why would you want to do a racist thing like that? And by the way, it's certainly not that Sunny Hostin and The View are a gaggle of racists, but don't question the verbal skills of Kamala Harris.
And she will, fairly or unfairly, be the most scrutinized vice president in history because she's running with the oldest president running for president in history.
And she's also a black woman.
But I think you have to be able to fairly critique the vice president of the United States without just saying it's the color of their skin or the fact she's a woman.
But it is part of it.
What makes you say that?
Well, we're in the United States of America.
Well, that settles it. You can only be concerned over Kamala's word salads if you're a racist. You certainly shouldn't have any concerns that Harris is second in power only to this man. If he can only make inflation drop as dramatically and frequently as he does. Of course, the media was quick to move on from this, whining that only Republicans are pouncing on the incident.
This is an image that his critics are already capitalizing on and pouncing on.
Yeah, the leftists would never, ever pounce on such a thing.
There are some questions this morning about President Trump's health. And it's because of this video of the president where you see him walking very haltingly. Maybe he just has a hard time going down a gently sloping ramp.
He says slippery, even though it was a clear day. The internet, as the internet does, suggesting maybe the president was having some balance issues here.
Well, it's more than just the way he walked, Aaron. The president's health was already called into question this past weekend when he was seen on video cautiously walking down a ramp after delivering a commencement address at West Point.
And at the time, CNN and MSNBC spent nearly an hour of airtime spanning across over 20 programs speculating on Trump's health after descending those stairs. But now they would rather talk about pride and avoid the fall. I'm Eric Shiner for MRCTV, asking you to head over to the MRC homepage, click on the donation button to support videos like this one, visit MRCTV.org for the latest in videos, entertainment, and information, and please like, share, and subscribe to these videos on the platforms that actually let you see us. Always check us out on Rumble. All our videos are there. And we'll be back next week with another look at leftist media madness.